Is there a re-entry plan?
There's a re-entry plan that's been put together. There's already one that's been initiated yesterday, and we're working with the staff right now, coming up with how we will continue with re-entry.
When will you have that? When will you have that ready for phase 2?
I'm sorry, repeat.
Plan for phase 2. When do you have phase 2?
We're going to have it probably by the end of the day.
Does anybody know where the fire is now?
Yes, sir.
Lieutenant Governor, can you talk a little bit about just the way that FEMA works and the way that federal aid is going to come? FEMA was here Tuesday about hearing from residents, and they're just frustrated with the help that they are not getting. Can you explain a little about that?
Repeat the question. They're asking how the FEMA process works. So we want to clear a little bit up on it. And I won't speak for FEMA, but I'll speak for the state of Texas Emergency Management, which is there's a formal process that has to be done. The Lieutenant Governor, the Governor. Okay, we're going to talk about the process of how FEMA will come into it. Once the President has declared it a federal disaster declaration, they came in to do some assessments with it to see how bad it was. So there were some representatives here to do that. We have that information. The governor has pushed that information up, and now we expect them to come in very quick. We expect a very quick resolution on that, and the teams are ready, and will come in very quickly within a very short period of time, possibly even the same day that the declaration is declared.
Has there been a formal request for individual property aid or not? Has that not been formal yet?
That is part of the process that we have done. The governor has requested that, and the submittal of the numbers of houses or structures that were damaged will allow that to go through the process of the FEMA process.
So, sir, you expect the declaration to be declared quickly?
We certainly hope so. We by all standards believe that.
In the letter, which I sent to President Obama just a little while ago, I specifically outlined different fires around the state. And I specifically said on Bastrop County, 34,000, actually I said 068 acres, 30% contained. An assessment team has confirmed 1,386 homes have been destroyed. 2 civilians were found dead. So we're being specific on this. I expect that number, when we get more personnel on the ground as the fires subside, will increase. So we want to be as ma'am?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Governor. You said 38%?
30%.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Number one, where's the plan? Okay.
I couldn't hear you, sir. Say it.
There's going to be a new next one. Number two, I mean, again, like yesterday, I'm an able-bodied man. There are 4 houses right down the ridge. Why won't you let me help?
One of the most important things is the question was, what is the plan? As I spoke of earlier, we have over 844 individuals that are working behind those walls. We have a coordinated campaign, incident management coordinated campaign, in which we have the state, we have the county, and also the federal government that is working together, analyzing the situation. Every morning at 8 o'clock, we come in, we have a briefing after individuals have been out there fighting the fires. And these are firefighters from around the country that are helping us with this plan and also working in these areas. There are goals set each day. Like I said, we've moved from 0 containment to 30% containment, and we're continuing to fight that fire. There is a plan. We're working together. We're involved in that plan, and we're trying to make sure that we're not letting anyone in until it is safe. Yes, sir.
Do you have a documented plan either on your website, the states, and the federal that we can review so that we can see what you are working from as a documentation point of view so that we can help ourselves to the information and not wait till you give a 10 o'clock or whatever. Anything documented?
That's a very good question, and the answer to that is I'm not sure, but I can tell you, when I leave here now, if we don't have that done, we can do that.
I think that would be great in the dissemination
We'll
of that
have
information.
that done in just a few minutes.
The dissemination of that information will be here where a lot of us that have lost everything can come to and tell where that is going to be so that we can get to it. Or if we can't get here, we're staying too far away, we can access it through the internet.
We can make that happen.
Both ways. I would strongly urge you to do that yesterday.
We'll do that in every way we can.
And if details on the bullet ties who has documentation. If they do not, so state that so that we can know who is not participating in documenting something that should have been there a long time ago. I know it takes this kind of a thing for it to come to fruition. So hopefully it will come to fruition now if it hasn't already been for the future.
Thank you, sir. What we're doing is, like I said, our information, we're posting everything on our websites, both ours and also it's linked to the school website. Bluebonnet has a website that they're working with. We're trying to make sure that all the information is getting out. And like I said earlier, we're actually going out to the centers, shelters, we're visiting the communities, we're updating everything that we're updating here, we're also taking to our shelters. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Yes, ma'am.
More than 1,300 homes gone. Does the county have enough resources to permanently house all of these families? Are you
That's the process that we're going into now when FEMA comes in and working to make sure that we're providing housing, short-term and long-term housing for all our residents. That's the goal. The bottom line is this has been one of the largest fires, as I said earlier, in the state of Texas. So it's going to be a process, us getting individuals back in their houses and, as I said, to normalcy. Yes, sir.
County Governor said things are getting worse since Wednesday. Mr. Fisher said they've been making progress. What is it? Are things getting better or things getting worse? I think there's some...
If you look at it, the same thing is what we deal with. If people began to ask me when this fire first started, why was it so hard fighting? We're not just dealing with a Bastrop fire when it comes to the state. It's fires all across the state that are stretching our resources. So in Bastrop County, we're really trying to focus on and laying out a framework to get our folks back in. And we're making progress. And when it comes to reentry, we went with first phase 1. We're moving to phase 2. Phase 2 will not come out until we make sure those areas are safe. We're not going to put anyone in danger. As Mr. Rose said, if you're out there and you see what's happening in this area, you wouldn't want to be put in there. It's dangerous. I'm going to put it like this. We will not let anyone back into the area until it is safe. We're working on that process, and that's our ultimate goal.
As soon as you know it, where will you post that information?
We will post that on our webpage, www.bastroptech. Yes, and we have that posted. We don't have a FEMA rep here, but this is what we'll do. I know there's still some questions that hadn't been answered. We have our public information officers that are out here that can begin to answer those questions. Thank you.
All right, that is the very latest from Bastrop County officials on the wildfire burning there. The good news is no additional homes burned overnight. That is good. And the acreage, 34,038 acres, about the same.
No new numbers coming in. Usually we come out of these news conferences and say, here's the updated numbers. It stays the same at 1,386 and 34,000 acres. The questions that are not answered seem to be more than the ones that are at this point. As you heard, Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst, now acting governor this week and last of the state of Texas, say they are waiting for the federal disaster declaration to be signed. He has now sent 2 letters to President Obama, and they are waiting on that. That, again, opens the door to equipment and funding and major help. We can tell you this, that a quick check, the flooding that's going on, another tragedy in the Northeast, parts of Pennsylvania and upstate New York, that from the tropical storm yesterday. President Obama signed a disaster declaration for that area. So again, the second letter now sent from Governor Dewhurst and still no response.
Obviously, there was lots of criticism from Rick Perry earlier this year that the president had not declared that major disaster in Texas.